That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's freaking awesome.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh my. Oh my goodness. Before I started rapping, if you niggas heard my...
What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another Deadpool Party reaction video. And I am about to react to top 10 comic book characters inspired by real life. Let's just get into it. I don't know that many that are inspired by real life, so this will be my first. You know, I know I might have a inkling of who might be, but let's check it out.
No matter how original you think they are, a lot of comic book characters, and characters in general, have been inspired by either real-life characters, another comic book character, or objects.
Oh.
With that in mind, here is my top 10 real-life inspirations for comic book characters. Number 10. The Joker. The debate of who created one of comic books' most iconic villains is still going on today. Bob Kane's and Bill Finger's accounts has them drawing up ideas based on a playing card Jerry Robinson brought in, but Jerry's account has him bringing in an entire drawing himself. Either way, what is a common link between the two accounts is the inspiration. Visually, the Joker is based on Conrad Veidt's performance as Gwynplaine in the movie The Man Who Laughs, and it's obvious when you see them side by side. Number 9. Magneto. When issue 1 of X-Men was published in September 1963, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby drew their inspiration from current affairs in terms of political parties and leaders for their fictional world for mutants fighting the discrimination of being different. The inspiration of the two most powerful mutants were based on civil rights leader of the day, Professor X, Charles Xavier, a caring teacher who fought the discrimination and tried to prove that mutants belonged and that they were peaceful and only wanted to help society. He was modeled on Martin Luther King Jr. Magneto, the man in question, was there to protect the interest of his kind and continue to prove that there was a reason they were different and that the humans were trying to make them extinct but looking for the perfect opportunity to do so. He was intimidation personified and advocating hate and strength. The portrayal of his character was based on Malcolm X, an American Muslim minister and human rights activist.
So it was like switched.
Stanley wrote, "I did not think of Magneto as a bad guy. He was just trying to strike back at people who are so bigoted and racist." He continued to suggest that we were only protecting the rights of mutants and their unfair treatment, a lot like trade unions and their leaders today. Number 8. Iron Man. Stan Lee's inspiration for Iron Man, Tony Stark, may be known by many of you guys as Howard Hughes. The similarities are apparently strikingly similar, and not only in the looks department. Both inherited a large fortune from their fathers, and both were bachelors. Both provided military hardware to the US during the Cold War. Stan Lee even told the real millionaire himself that he was going to call Tony's father Howard. Lee describes Hughes as one of the most colourful men of all time. Hughes passed away in 1976, so when Robert Downey Jr. agreed to play Tony Stark in 2008's Iron Man, he turned up to meet billionaire and entrepreneur Elon Musk, who co-founded PayPal. He even delivered supplies to the International Space Station. So they tweaked the script a little to make Tony Stark a little like Elon, and he even made a cameo appearance in the 2010 sequel to the first movie. Number 7. J Jonah Jameson. Peter Parker's demanding boss at the Daily Bugle was named J Jonah Jameson and was modelled after the one and only Stan Lee. He even admits that his character is bad-tempered, dumb, and thought he was better than he was. Steve Ditko was involved in the creation of this demanding leader. Lee and Ditko liked the irony of having Peter Parker work for a boss that hated his alter ego. The wanting and needing of the most talked about heroes' photos helped in his attempts to unmask and reveal the infamous Spider-Man. The creators also had fun adding in the similarities of both Lee and Jameson, starting with Lee's wife, Joanne, who is also the name of Jameson's wife. Jameson's secretary, Betty Bryant, was based on Lee's secretary, Flo Steinberg. Stan even voiced his enthusiasm to play the man himself when Spider-Man first graced itself on our screens. Number 6. Wonder Woman. In 1941, a feminist idea was formed in the name of Wonder Woman by William Moulton Marston. She was created to encourage freedom and courage amongst the female audience. She's here to combat the idea that women are inferior to men and to give women and young girls self-confidence and achievement in everything they choose to do. However, in Marston's mind, women are not only equal to men, but are superior to them. He believed that Wonder Woman is the leader of all women, to help them change their attitudes and perceptions of themselves, and that one day they would rule the world. Maxwell Charles Gaines, the inventor of the comic boom, hired Marston in 1940. At the time, DC Comics were highly criticized for glorifying violence as World War II was heating up. Marston stated that the comics' worst offense was their blood-curdling masculinity. He suggested adding a female hero, thus giving him the responsibility of creating an all-American heroine. He created the world of the Amazonian women in February 1941, of whom has escaped the clutches of men in ancient Greece to form an all-feminine utopia where they become stronger and create mental power. Wonder Woman was inspired by two women who lived with him. His wife of 25 years, Elizabeth Holloway Marston, who was well educated with a bachelor, master and law degree when most women wouldn't have the opportunity to have an education. She helped Marston with his research into blood pressure, which helped Marston develop the lie detector. Olivia Byrne was Marston's mistress, who was a psychology professor. He gave his wife the ultimatum to live together with Byrne, or he would leave her. Marston's wife agreed, and both women gave him 2 children. Byron wore metal braces on her wrist, much like Wonder Woman's own bracelets, instead of a wedding ring. Also, it was Mrs. Elizabeth Marston who was the one that insisted Wonder Woman be a woman, and even gave Wonder Woman her famous exclamations, Great Hera and Suffering Sappho. Number 5. Clark Kent. Clark Kent is seemingly an introverted man working in an office block with the likes of the unknowing Lois Lane. He disguises his dashing looks with a pair of black specs, hiding his true identity from the world. But where did his dashing looks come from? Beginning his journey as a thought process between 2 friends, Jerry Siegel and illustrator Joe Shuster, they originally made him a supervillain. He appeared as the Man of Steel in January 1933's fanzine, Science Fiction, The Advanced Guard of Future Civilization. But of course, the duo changed their minds. 5 years later, they took their inspiration from biblical figures such as Moses and Samson, and other fictional heroes such as Hercules for their morals and upstanding in society. They reshaped this biblical superhuman Superman into one of movies' favourite actors, Douglas Fairbanks. His alter ego, Clark Kent, came to being by using the first names of Clark Gable and Kent Taylor, designed to disguise Superman as a regular person, just like you and I. The nimble Clark Kent was modelled on actor Harold Lloyd for his deceptively meek yet athletic appearance. Number 4. Lois Lane. On the subject of Clark Kent, Lois Lane has always been a love interest to our Clark Kent, except for the New 52. No superhero can be without his damsel in distress. Rumour has it that Jerry Siegel modelled Lois on the girl he was trying to capture the heart of during his time at Glenville High School in Cleveland. However, Siegel cleared that rumour pretty quickly, suggesting that his girlfriend Joanne was the muse for Joe Shuster to draw, suggesting she was a working girl whose priority was grabbing scoops. In fact, the inspiration behind Lois Lane was in fact actress Glenda Farrell, her portrayal of the gutsy, glamorous headline reporter. Lois Lane, the name itself, is an adaptation of the actress Lola Lane. Sigel is reported to have said, "The name Lola Lane appealed to me, so I called my character Lois Lane." Number 3. Wolverine. Created as a throwaway character, Wolverine's one and only task was the take on the Hulk when he travelled to Quebec in The Incredible Hulk number 180 in 1974. It was a close call, but Wolverine was close to being called the Badger, but was quickly changed after writer Len Wein thought Badger had the same connotation as heckling. DC were looking for a Canadian hero-villain character to add to the family. By the time John Byrne joined the company, Wolverine's character had been neglected and only joined the X-Men team in number 94. Byrne spent the next few years developing a story for the now iconic character he is today. His signature pointy hair had already been established, and Byrne perfected Logan's look, of which was inspired by another minor character in the 1977 movie Slapshot. Actor Paul D'Amato's portrayal of Dr. Hook was enough to grab the attention of the creators, and his personality and thick sideburns were enough to establish Wolverine. Number 2. Batman. Almost a year later, after the development of the Joker, Bob Kane and Bill Finger draw inspirations from the one and only Douglas Fairbank. After his depiction of Zorro in the 1920s silent movie The Mask of Zorro, they both agreed he is the man of the moment. Falling for his charm, humour and athleticism, they later established the dual identity and the wealthy businessman that would become Batman. Other contributions were thrown into the mix, with the likes of Sleuth's Dr. Savage and the one and only Sherlock Holmes. After Kane's idea of wanting the Batman to have wings, similar to the Leonardo da Vinci sketch of the Orthonopter, Bill Finger changed it to a cape. Clearly, this man was ill-informed about capes. Finger also contributed the pointed face mask, and also came up with the name Bruce Wayne, a combined effort of the Scottish hero Robert the Bruce, King Bruce I, and American Revolutionary hero General Mad Anthony Wayne. Number 1.
Did not know a lot of this
Red
stuff.
Skull. As strange as this sounds, Captain America co-creator Joe Simon stated in his autobiography, My Life in Comics, that a cold dessert was his off-the-wall inspiration for the red-faced villain. Quote, "I was always thinking about heroes and villains, with all sorts of ideas swimming around in my head. I had a hot fudge sundae sitting in front of me, with the vanilla ice cream, and the hot fudge was running down the side. It was intriguing. The hot fudge looked like limbs, legs, feet and hands. And I'm thinking to myself, gee, this would make an interesting villain, I mused. We'll call him Hot Fudge. Just put a face in him and have him ooze all over the place. But I looked again at the sundae and saw the big cherry on top. The cherry looked like a skull. Wow, I said to myself, Red Skull, that sounds great." So there you have it, 10 real-life inspirations for comic book characters. And if you want to see another interesting top 10, click here for my top 10 hidden meanings behind common sayings.
Oh wow, I did not know a lot of those things. It's crazy how, people have, think of ideas of stuff. They just, it just does, regular people and regular, people of that time, and then kind of switch it. There's a lot of, characters of, of this time, the past 10 years that are, from like different real people in real life. Empire characters and all that stuff are kind of based on like King Lear and his sons and all that stuff like that. It's like you don't know what inspiration they might take from. But that's a good top 10 list right there. If you like my reaction, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share, leave requests. I'm your boy Jay. This is another Deadpool party reaction video. Peace, y'all.